Welcome back to Crystal Clear. I'm ARTWITHKODA, and oddly enough, when it comes to Steven Universe Future and the things I'm most excited for that we've learned from Q&A and the new theme song is none other than the two Lapis Lazulis present in the theme song. I'm sure you guys forgot because it's been a few years since I've said this, but Lapis and Jasper are two of my favorite gems in Steven Universe. While I've expressed plenty of love for Jasper lately, I wasn't really able to provide as much for Lapis simply because I didn't know what the show was going to do with her. Lapis's character provides a lot of promise, but for a lot of factors, she definitely did not have as much presence in the show as I would have wanted. And that her moments, scenes where we're gonna be invested into Lapis, rooting for her growth, and her future would be scenes where the story is more revolved around Jasper, but not necessarily Lapis. And while I think we'll still get moments like that, where the focus of the story is more on Jasper than Lapis, the inclusion of these two Lapises suddenly changed everything. In hindsight, it was kind of a no-brainer. I always felt strongly that a rebellion in Era 3 was coming up, and now that looks more likely than ever. But these two Lapis Lazulis, we can infer the Lapises are high-ranking gems. Blue Diamond's dialogue in Reunited inferred as much. So of course there would be Lapises whose status no longer means anything and would want to rebel against Homeworld and the Crystal Gems. This really got me thinking, and now I have two major points that I just want to put out into the world. I know one is already making rounds of fan art, because when you start looking at all the villains on the screen and how they could be tied together, it's kind of a no-brainer. But when you start to think about who Lapis is, suddenly the idea of two gems from the same walk of life opposing against her makes Lapis's future something we should be anticipating, as it's very fascinating to think about. You see, I've noticed something in common with most of the elite gems we've seen. Sapphire, Aquamarine, Emerald, and potentially Holly Blue Agate. These characters all sport some degree of higher ranking fashion, whether it be a dress or just stylish articles of clothing. And to quickly recap, Sapphires are assumably elite gems, as they're said to be rare, and are escorted by Ruby guards. When Pearl learned of Aquamarine's presence on Earth, she came to the conclusion that Blue and Yellow Diamond was something personally, something I don't believe she would have said if these gems weren't at the top of the chain. Emerald was confirmed to be an elite gem on the Steven Universe podcast.
Emerald. That was pretty cool. Everyone really liked Emerald.
I mean, this is like a major bad guy that's sort of been. It's because it's like one of the major gems. Like I remember Emerald, like really early on when we talked about other gems we wanted to add. It was like Emerald. We got to save something special for this one.
Yeah, I think Emerald is special because like Peridot was not a high level gem, and Jasper is a decorated gem from humble origins.
Yes, exactly.
But Emerald is like a fancy,
high class, decorated,
high ranking, very important gem, which is not the kind of gem we usually deal with. And we deal with the diamonds. I mean, they're the highest ranking gems of all. But Lars really, I think that Lars made many enemies along the way, but then, all of those enemies would have answered to Emerald, where it would just go all the way up.
Emerald drives like a flagship for a fleet, so it's like, Emerald's a really big deal.
Yeah, I wanted to do a big, glitzy enemy.
And while you would think Holly Blue Agate may not be an elite gem because she was stationed at the zoo, think of how highly Blue Diamond regarded the zoo. And she put Holly Blue Agate in charge. Plus, Holly Blue in general just seems very snooty. Someone who looks down upon gems of lower status. And her character also clued in that Sapphire was an elite gem, as Holly Blue switched up her entire demeanor when she saw Sapphire in particular. Compared these gems to, the rest of Gemkind, how other gems wear bodysuits, their body forms being nowhere as flashy, we can infer that from a design aspect, the Crewniverse would be able to communicate what gems are lower ranking and what gems are qualified to achieve elite status. And lower ranking gems can always climb up the scoreboard, as Jasper was initially a mere court soldier, but she stood out above all the rest in the gem war, her elite status being signified by her cape in the return. Also, it looked cool. So by this point, you probably figured out how this ties to Lapis. Lapis's uniform is a dress. And as I mentioned earlier, Blue Diamond was appalled that a Lapis Lazuli would defect Homeworld and join the Crystal Gems. And of course, many fans always wondered about one of Lapis's opening lines in the episode Mirror Gem. Did you even wonder who I used to be? The show has subtly told us time and time again that Lapis is an elite gem. But of course, without much focus on that aspect, it hasn't really had much payoff, aside from standing up to Blue Diamond. That's where I think these two Lapises come into play. Now yes, Lapis was terrified to go back to Homeworld in fear of the Diamonds retaliating for the failed Earth mission, especially if they learned what Lapis did to Jasper. But of course, we as an audience know the full story. But how would other gems, especially elite gems, and especially other Lapis Lazulis, react to hearing one of the crystal gems that stood up to White Diamond was none other than a Lapis Lazuli? There's one thing Steven Universe never really touched on with Homeworld, and it's a social issue that impacts many people on a daily basis, even from a young age: privilege. Before being poofed by Bismuth and mistaken as a crystal gem for Homeworld, we can assume that Lapis was a very privileged gem. She had it made. Yes, she had an assigned duty, but terraforming? That sounds integral to the formation of a colony, and thus, it only makes sense she would be a highly respected gem. So these two Lapis Lazulis, which I really hope and assumably can't wait for whatever their nicknames are gonna be. Come on, if they name the rubies, they're gonna name two Lapises. Hopefully just not another Army and Navy. Anyways, these two Lapis Lazulis may confront our Lapis in particular, recognizing her as one of the prime crystal gems, who helped change Homeworld for the better, and how they just see Homeworld's new changes as the worst, and potentially put Lapis on the spot. Really put Lapis's actions into question, reducing all of Lapis's hardships throughout the series to just, why did you do all of that when you could have went back to Homeworld? You're a Lapis Lazuli. Homeworld and the Diamonds will go easy on you. You come back after thousands of years and all they did was interrogate you? Of course, Lapis would see things for what really happened, but from there they could really dig into the discrimination and prejudice between different ranks on Homeworld. And for all we know, they can make this really personal. Why pull any punches? Perhaps these Lapis Lazulis could have assisted our Lapis at the Beta Kindergarten. That our Lapis once made up a trio of Lapis Lazulis, and they were all close until the Gem War happened, and now if anything, they feel betrayed by Lapis. Not only would it make these three responsible for the creation of Jasper, but it can make the two Lapises' involvement with Jasper that much more brutal. But we'll save that for next time. As always, these are just my thoughts, and I want to hear yours. What do you think? How do you feel about the potential of Lapis's future? What do you see? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, or tweet your thoughts at Roundtable Vids. And for more of my own thoughts, you can find me at ARTWITHKODA. We're also on Instagram. Special thanks to ARTWITHKODA for creating an awesome thumbnail. For more of his wonderful art, you can find him on Tumblr and Instagram at ARTWITHKODA, and subscribe to his YouTube channel. Link down below in the description. Help Roundtable grow by either becoming a member of this channel or supporting us over at Patreon. Link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please throw it a like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. ARTWITHKODA signing out.